This is Dave Arnold, your host of Cooking Issues, coming to you live from the heart of Manhattan, Rockefeller Center, New York City, Newsstand Studios. Joined as usual not with John, because John's got, he's rocking the COVID, so he's in quarantine in Connecticut. Nastasia the Hammer Lopez is flying over the country as we speak from coast to coast on a delayed flight, so she will not be here. I believe Quinn is still under the weather. We got Joe Hazen. How you doing, Joe?
Last resort. Hi, doing? Good to see you on a Friday.
Great to see you on a Friday. Yes. The last resort is my man, Jackie Molecules, Jack Inslee.
That's me.
Yeah. So where are you right now, Jack?
I'm in LA.
Yeah. Back in LA.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys when you're here.
Oh, that's true. Well, let me introduce our special guest, who's actually a special guest that I've known longer than most people that I know. Like, pretty much, like, my parents and, like, my college roommates, like, and that's it. And I guess my brother, but he was a baby. Anyway, Maile Carpenter is here. How you doing, Maile?
Hey, Dave.
Hey. So the way this works, Maile, because I'm expecting that you've never had to deal with this before. I can't believe it's been like 12 years of doing this.
I've had to deal with this for decades. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, like, no, me, yes, but I mean, like, this actual format. But, like, we've been doing this for 12 years, and you've never been on, which is kind of ridiculous. So what we are going to do is we're just going to, usually it's a larger crew because not everyone is either sick or, like, being tossed over the continent. But we're going to just shoot the breeze over, what happened. So, but just to give an idea of kind of where, so your current title is Overlord of Hearst Lifestyle Magazines, right?
No.
Right?
I wish.
No? I thought it was like, no? It's like, no. So you run Food Network Magazine, which you launched.
Yes.
Yeah. And you founding editor-in-chief, I believe is the title there.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you're also creative director for...
No, not good.
Oh, well, what?
Editorial director.
Editorial director. What's the difference between... I don't know how these titles...
Well, your other sister-in-law is a creative director.
She's a creative director for HGTV magazine. Yeah. So how's that being your sister's boss?
Yeah, I'm not... We worked it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to get into all that later, but that's kind of, but you've also been a food editor and a reporter and, you went to culinary school. We'll get into all that later. So, anyone have any interesting food crap from the past week? Oh, and if you're listening live, which is unlikely because it's not our normal time, you can call in your questions to 917-410-1507. That's 917-410-1507. Oh, and the reason Maile and I know each other so long is that she's my sister-in-law. Just putting that out there. So, we've known each other since college days. All right, what about you, Jack? You got anything for me?
So I've been eating nothing but saltines and bananas and toast, as you can probably guess why. Stomach issues.
Wait.
Gastro stuff.
Oh, but wait, that solves stomach issues?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they tell you to do. What do they call it? The BRAT Diet. Just to sort of like.
Wait, who's a BRAT? Like, to me, a BRAT diet is all sausages.
Bananas, rice, applesauce, toast is what it stands for. It's terrible.
Who came up with this?
A miserable person.
But, like, in other words, like, did a doctor tell you to do this, or is this like some internet thing?
No, doctor.
A doctor told you to.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know your doctor, okay? So I can say whatever I like about them. Right?
Please.
Yeah. Most doctors don't know squat about nutrition or diets. Just because you go to medical school doesn't mean you know about, you know what I mean? I went to art school. I would not take my suggestion on how to properly paint, a faux Rembrandt. I wouldn't. You know why? Not a good painter. You know what I mean? I wouldn't take my suggestions on how to draw the human figure. I would ask my wife because she's great at it. Me, I suck. Although I am an MFA. And I think doctors are the same thing. They tell you things. They don't necessarily know what they're talking about just because they're a doctor. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that your person isn't super good at this particular niche thing that is actually a whole field of study unto itself for a whole lifetime. But, maybe they're not. I mean, it's clearly making you miserable. Like how much faster are you going to get better if you're not miserable? Does it make you feel better eating all of these bananas? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't make your toilet feel better.
No, I'm on your side here. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah. Damn, I'm sure those saltines are ripping your mouth up, huh?
Yeah,
It's
it's terrible.
I love like a couple saltines. Miley, you like a saltine, right?
I love a saltine.
Yeah, because like a couple of chews of that like and like all gum in your mouth and your mouth cut up and the salt. I mean, please tell me you're getting the ones with the salt on top. Please tell me you're getting the ones with the salt on top.
Yes.
Do you know the local supermarket, which is called the Fine Fare, which is misnamed, right? It's fine actually, whatever. They once had them on sale, but they had the entire like aisle was the unsalted ones. Who wants those?
No.
Who wants
No
them?
one.
Unless you actually have a problem, you want the salt. That's just my feeling. Anyway, you eat like, maybe like you're watching something, I can take a half a sleeve of saltines down. If I have cheese, I could take down infinity saltines. That's the old McSorley's. Miley, you ever go to McSorley's?
Yeah.
It's
been a while.
You have the cheese plate?
No.
It's a sleeve of saltines, like Kraft style, like block, white, sharp cheddar, onions and like sliced onions, which Jennifer, my wife, hates. You don't mind raw onions, right?
No.
Yeah. And we each have our kryptonite. We each have our food kryptonite.
What's yours?
Melon. I hate
melon,
melon.
yeah.
You know, you're mint and Jen's raw onions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I could take down a half sleeve easy. But then if it's all you're freaking eating for starch, my man, I mean, no, wrong. You're like, well, I'm going to put a banana on it and then it's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. How long do you have to do this crap? And who poisoned you if this happened? Who poisoned you? Do
It's
you know?
sort of like it's like a control experiment. It's kind of like right?
Listen.
I'm pretty much at the end of my rope, though, to be honest with you.
You know, and they're not exactly accurate, but you can just go get like a blood test, right? And they'll test you to see what you're actually freaking, what's it called too? What's the word I'm looking for? Sensitive? No, it doesn't always show right. But they can do blood tests for a lot of allergies. And they can do arm tests for allergens. They can do all these tests for things that you're allergic to. Whatever, man. Good luck with it. How long you got to be on this?
I'm giving up soon.
Sweet.
I mean,
Have
probably, yeah.
Since you're in LA, well, I guess they don't grow bananas there. Have you had any interesting bananas, or is it all Cavendish? You're like, not only am I going to only eat bananas, it's going to be strictly monoculture bananas. Is that part of the diet? It has to be monoculture?
It has to be monocultural.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Western medicine for you, huh?
Joy. So wait, so let me get this one more time. I apologize. It's bananas, saltines.
I always get the letters wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's like bread and avocado. I can't remember what.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I like B bread.
If you put bread and avocado in it, you're getting close. As long as you can salt and pepper that
Spells
thing.
brat.
Yeah. Miley's got a better one for you.
Bread.
Yeah.
What should R be?
Rice is what they say. It's like bland white rice.
You need something in there that you need something that's crunchy but not dry, like some sort of like a lettuce or a vegetable in there. Something that is crunchy but not dry. That one of the things that's missing. It also seems like there's no acid. Like Jean-Georges could not make a diet out of this. Like Jean-Georges, always
That's an acid.
Yeah, always like some acid in his cuisine. You know what I mean? Yeah. What would you put in this crunchy, Miley, that you think would be not?
What'd you say? Wet and crunchy?
Not wet, but not saltine crunchy. Something that's not going to dry you
Does
out.
Does it have to start with a B, R, A, or T?
Yeah, but like radish is a lot. If the only thing you're eating that's crunchy and moist is a radish, that's a lot.
Jicama?
Oh, God. Oh, my God. You're like, ooh, are you a fan of the raw starch? No. You know what I like? A lot of raw starch. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like pea shoots. Because to me, they taste too starchy unless they're cooked. You know what I mean? I don't like raw starch. My mom used to eat raw potatoes when she was prepping in the kitchen. Like, not like a boat ton of them, but like she'd be like, and I was like, Ma, she's like, try it. I'm like, Ma, that sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like an underripe apple. You know how when you bite into an underripe apple, it's too starchy? This is why, by the way, when you buy early season apples at the farmer's market, the early season apples, like they get soft almost instantly when they come off the tree if they're ripe. So they pick them viciously underripe. So they're never hyper exciting early season apples, but like they don't even have a chance to be exciting when they're being picked as just like starch orbs. I guess you can cook them and dump acid on them. In fact, that's why a lot of those early apples like were preserved so you could have early pie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Early pie. Remember that time I made a pie with mint in it and you came over and you called it toothpaste pie and then nobody wanted to try it because you called it toothpaste pie?
I mean, it was.
Well, only because you hate mint. All right. Well, Miley, you got any interesting food crap from this week?
Let's see. I ate at the U.S. Open last night. Some crown shy chicken tenders.
How were they?
Tater tots.
What are your thoughts on the tender?
Well, when they make it, it's great.
But it's like in general, the tender as an item. The chicken tender as an item.
I mean, for kids, it's great.
Yeah.
I like a dark meat, but...
Yeah. So, like, for some reason, we did it for a while at Existing Conditions, and it's happened at a bunch of other places. I've seen, like, family meal, because I guess you can buy just sacks and sacks of chicken tenders, right? So, pre-breaded chicken tenders. So, if you have it more than twice a week for staff meal, people revolt. They're like, no more tendies. No more tendies. You know what I mean? People freak out.
Like for a game?
No, I mean like
stuff.
pre-ship. Oh, for game,
With tater tots?
Yeah. Tater tots are, well, okay. Where are you with tater tots? Because we've done this on the show before. So, in the pantheon of cooked potatoes, latkes or tots?
Tots.
Okay. How bad is an undersalted tot? It's the worst, right? Inedible, right. So you're saying like properly salted. We're talking properly salted. Okay.
Properly crunchy on the outside.
Okay. So tot versus chip. American chip. Duh.
Tot. I mean, tots, I don't know what I think.
Tots over
what
fries?
would beat a tot?
Tots over fries?
Yeah.
Tots over mashed potatoes all the time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Tots over hash browns?
Yes.
Tots over home fries?
Yes.
Tots over baked potato?
Yes.
Stuffed potato skins?
Yes. Yes.
All right, so tots are the pinnacle for you
Yes.
of cooked potato technology.
Yes.
All right. What about like massive quantities of sauce and whatnot, like poutine tots and like
No, just a tot.
Just a tot. And what is your sauce of choice? Are you a ruiner? We call in our family we call ketchup ruiner, even though
I like a ruiner or the Marie's Calendar Chipotle Ranch.
Wow, that's a brand call. I've never had it.
That's my favorite dip.
You're talking about the pie lady, Marie Calendar.
Or no, not Marie Callender's. It's just Marie's. It's called Marie's. I gave it.
I'm like, pie lady
Yay for
branching
Marie
out.
Callender's. No. It's just called Marie's. It's in the refrigerator section.
So no one cares about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So, Marie Callender started in California I think it was California, as a pie making business, right? And basically put out of business my favorite pie person, Monroe Boston Strauss, was hired by Ray Kroc or Roy Kroc. What is it? Which was the McDonald's Kroc? Anyway, McDonald's Kroc divorced his original wife, was a raging alcoholic, married another person whose name was something, who wanted to start a pie company. They started a pie company under the aegis of McDonald's. They had McDonald's behind them at the time in the, I want to say late 60s, mid to late 60s. And my man, Monroe Boston Strauss, was their pie guy. But I can't find anyone that's eaten it there. And they were put out by people like Marie Callender's, who just had a better business structure.
Wow.
But I don't think she has brick and mortar anymore, right?
I don't know.
I've never had
Apparently
one of her
she's
pies.
making ranch dressing.
Yeah. Well, she's dropped a calendar because no one understands. Oh, I'm not going to have a ranch dressing from a pie lady. The hell? Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. I've never been to a tennis game.
Yeah, it was my first time.
Really?
But it was a really good one. And while we were eating the tenders and the tots, a guy super glued his feet to the floor, like his bare feet, in protest.
Of what? Floors?
It was like
Was he protesting floors?
I mean, what could he be protesting? Tennis? No, he was there. He was protesting fossil fuels.
Now, I'm all for protest of any kind. Yeah. Not really, but I mean, like, I'm for protests sometimes, right? Why is this a protest for that? Is it just because they're going to ask him, why are you glued to the floor?
Well, he successfully paused the match for like 50 minutes. So now everyone's talking about what happened.
Right.
So they were talking about what his cause was, I suppose.
I guess
that's his idea, right?
Right.
It's a lot of people.
But it's not like a direct thing like chaining yourself to a tree or
not that I can tell.
Or like, yeah. It's not a
just
direct.
chose the venue, good venue.
Where a lot of people
to make
watching.
some noise. Literally make some noise. They wanted everyone to be quiet for the match because they're like, shut up, everybody. And they kept screaming.
Oh, and then they were like, move. And he's like, I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
three.
glued.
So there were three. Like, two of them got sort of walked out and he remained because his feet were glued to the floor. But my question is, no one's writing about how they got his feet off the floor. What did they do to remove his feet from the floor? It's super glue, I imagine.
Well, so if it's super glue is a cyanoacrylate, okay? And it bonds.
So assuming he was barefoot.
Yes. Cyanoacrylate bonds skin extremely well. So for anyone that's ever like I used to do a lot of model building, and you use it because
Wiley used it on a cut, like to instead of stitches.
Yeah, so they use that now, right? I mean, they don't use the same grade on models, but they make this. What's cool? Well, what's interesting about you use super glue, right, Miley? Zip kicker.
Zip kicker, no.
Yeah. Okay. So what they do is they have these gel base. So the old school, like when I was a kid, super glues, cyanoacrylate glues, they had to be in very, very small dots because if it had any thickness to it at all, the joints would rupture because they were very brittle. The newer ones that are kind of jelly, more of a gels, thicker consistency, can bridge larger gaps, and they're stronger. And they also take longer to set, right? Because they're a bigger thing. But they make this stuff, which was like, in the 90s was like a dream when I was building stuff like in sculpture, is you just goop super glue all over it. It doesn't matter. You can go overboard, right? And you put the two things together, and then you go with a spray bottle, and it sets like that. Like that. And so
What's in the spray bottle?
I don't remember what's in the spray bottle, to be honest. Huh. But it's and so more than 20 times you've gone and your finger had glue on it, and it's glued to whatever it is you're holding, and you're like,
okay, so how'd you get it off?
There are several ways to do it. One, if you have a lot of time, is you just stick your hand in hot water. It'll soften up. Your skin will soften up. It'll soften up a little bit, and it'll come off, right? I'm assuming they didn't do that because how the heck can you do that? They could have gone and gotten like acetone. Like acetone and some other solvents will eventually kind of melt it off. Or your skin on your toes, on your feet is pretty thick. They could have just taken a paint scraper and just been like shunka, 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 shunka.
Does the NYPD keep a solvent around? Why would they have that?
I mean, I don't know. I have it in my house, but I don't know what they have in, where do they play that? Out by Shea, whatever they call Shea now in Queens? Wherever the open
Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Arthur Ashe Stadium, yeah. I saw him speak once in my high school. Oh. Yeah, back when he was alive. Yeah. A good speaker, interesting guy. Yeah, back when he was alive, obviously. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't trust security and or NYPD to be friendly in the way they removed this man's feet from the ground. So I'm assuming they didn't take the most gentle tack.
I don't know. I mean, I want the story. Why is no one covering this?
I mean, I don't know, but what they have right there is they obviously have paint scrapers, and I bet you they got a razor blade scraper you would use for a window. Because that they have to scrape horrible things off of those seats. You know what I mean? And off of every surface in that place. So that the maintenance people have those scraper blades that are foot wide, not human foot wide, not long. And I'm sure they went heel first. If you get the heel up, I mean, if this gentleman was, hopefully this gentleman has decent arches, in which case, you're only stuck at
really a couple points.
Yeah. But if this was a flat-footed gentleman, toast! It's also, there's not much protection on that's why that part of your foot is so ticklish, because you're why is there no protection there? Because it's not really supposed to be hitting the ground. You know what I mean? Unless this person spent weeks toughening themselves up by running on gravel without shoes. But who does that these days? Who does that these days?
I didn't know it was a thing.
What, running on gravel?
No, super gluing your feet to the floor.
Oh, yeah. Well, look,
didn't know this wasn't.
Look, the person didn't wake up in the morning and be like, hey, I'm going to super glue my feet to the floor. I'm sure they knew they were going to do it in advance,
Yeah.
Anyway.
It made for a good match.
If only we knew someone in the media industry who had a bunch of people who reported for them and to them, who could ask someone to report this story. Do we know anyone like that, Miley?
Really fall under my,
I mean, you were eating tenders.
That Pioneer woman's not going to cover it. HG, not so much. Food Network, no.
Not even on the,
justify it.
What about the letter to the editor?
We don't even run those anymore.
Really?
No.
Why?
The letters to the editor, because by the time they run, they're...
I didn't mean that. I meant letter from the editor.
No, letter from... Oh, I need to find out? Okay. I'll get right on it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, did I have anything interesting food-wise last week? No. That's actually not true. I did a lot. But none of it's very interesting. I rebuilt my sifter. By the way, Wiley, so another thing, Wiley Dufresne, who was on the show a while ago, WD-50, Alder, Due's Donuts, Stretch Pizza. Anyway, they're also married. So this is a lot of food people in the family. So he calls me, right? By the way, Maile Carpenter has in her possession how many pizza ovens?
Oh, I mean, I think 6 at this point. 6, yeah.
Yeah. So for her birthday, we all went to Pennsylvania. I didn't mention this part of it. We all went to Pennsylvania. I talked about it last week. Beautiful house, right?
Yeah, it was.
Dingman's Ferry. Yeah. She's like, we weren't sure whether the grill was going to work out or not. So she's like, I got a couple pizza ovens in my car. You want to use one? I'm like, you have pizza ovens in your car? She's like, where am I going to put them? I like every inch of my house is pizza ovens.
It's true. It was the new Uni electric.
Yeah.
He likes it.
All right. Well, okay, we might as well get this out of the way now. So, no, you know what? We'll get to it later. Like,
What was it?
No, I was gonna say like someone in our family like asked you to autograph a pizza book, and we're like, what pizza book? And it turns out that you're out on national TV hawking Food Network's pizza book, which has nothing to do. For the past since the pandemic, Miley's house has been like pizza Armageddon, like pizza ovens, pizza books, all the pizza, every pizza, and then out of the blue, Miley's hawking a pizza book.
It's not Wiley's. I know. I'm on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Talking about pizza.
Yeah.
They called me chef.
Yeah, nice.
Wiley's like, his head's exploding.
Yeah, I read the book, and it's not like Wiley's.
No, it's not a technical book.
Although, like, okay, listen. So, so Miley has a couple of major skills. We're going to get to them, in depth. But one of them is that. Okay, so I guess we'll start before we get into pizza. I'll read your little thing. This is like why I'm assuming you wrote this. This sounds like something you would actually write, right? Did you actually write?
Yeah.
Right. So, basically, like Miley is the best at figuring out how to get the most people, and especially whatever her audience is. Doesn't matter what her audience is. You tell her what the audience is, and she will. Like you could, like I always wanted to be the guy that they woke up in the middle of the night to ask for, like, a New York Post title. You could shake Miley awake and be like, "We have 13 minutes. Who's the audience?" You know what I mean? Boom. So it's like, yeah. So she writes this thing, and then she also is a genius at knowing that you're going to be pissed, that someone's going to be pissed. So she goes, here, we know many of you have strong pizza POV, and we're here for you. In other words, like, hey, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to disagree with half the stuff we say no matter what we say. And so F on you. And she cuts it off. You know what I mean? And so she's always been amazing at that. In fact, when the Museum of Food and Drink was starting, I wrote up a bunch of stuff for, some ideas for exhibits, some of which we've done. And I handed it to Miley. Miley was like, boring. And then she punched it all up. And it took a while, but you punched it up incredible. So if you ever need something, well, you can't use her because, she's above whatever you are, she's probably above your pay grade. But if you ever need something like seriously punched up, she's the one to punch it up. But I will take issue with a couple of things. The fourth recipe in this book is a Hawaiian pizza. So what is your thoughts on Hawaiian pizza?
Why we were just talking about this because Wiley's talking about putting pineapple on a pizza for an upcoming event.
It's just too much. It's too much people. It's too angering. It just angers too many people.
Well, that's Wiley doesn't mind that.
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, why? You hate it?
I don't care. I'm fine. I don't care. To me, a flavor is a flavor.
Pizza
but
is like a vehicle for whatever you like to put on top.
But Wiley and Dave Chang almost punched me once because I said I liked wasabi mashed potatoes, even though they were passé. I thought they tasted good, and they almost decked me. You know what I mean? It's like, and
people just like to argue about it. There's nothing wrong with it.
All right.
Plus, Hawaii, we should be kind.
You actually
we should talk nicely about the pineapple.
The book was before that, though. No. Don't try to horn in. The book was written before that. No one publishes that fast.
I'm just saying you can't trash pineapple pizza anymore.
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought of it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so given the fact that you're now a bad person, Jack, if you say something negative about the pineapple pizza, what are your thoughts? Rate it on a scale of 1 to barefoot Merlot.
I don't like pineapple. 4, 3.5.
Okay, so you come to a party, there are slices of pineapple pizza, and there are glasses of barefoot Merlot, and you have to take one.
I'll have one of each. I just won't be happy about it.
Spoken like a true partygoer. What about you, Joe? What are your pineapple pizza thoughts?
No go for me.
No? There are 2 recipes for pineapple pizza in this book.
Sorry.
One of which uses deli ham. The other which specifies Canadian bacons and is more of a sheet pizza. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Canadian bacon versus what's it called? Deli ham. for this. No spam, huh? You didn't want to go full spam? Too salty. Spam too salty? I like
We could
spam.
have put spam in there. The whole point of the book is to put whatever you want on your pizza.
Yes, that is the point of the book.
You know?
So that leads me to another question. So this is a Food Network magazine book.
Yeah.
All right. So I think a lot of people don't have any kind of understanding about the Food Network versus the Food Network magazine and the Food Network stars and how this weird constellation of stuff kind of comes together. So like, for instance, this one, like this is basically built on recipes from your in-house experts, not from the stars, right?
Right. Well, so Food Network has an amazing kitchen. Like you can see it. You can walk by it now. You know, their headquarters are on 19th and Park, and you can walk by and watch them work. It's very cool. And that's the kitchen for the whole network. So they produce food for the shows there. They shoot some things there. And our team is there. So they're producing all the food for the magazine. So the magazine's just, you know, a print manifestation of the brand. That's the simplified version of it. So the stars, you know, we run recipes from the talent. But there's also a test kitchen with chefs in it who you don't know. Well, you know them, but people don't know them.
Yeah.
Who produce the recipes for this. But that's the great irony of me hawking this book is that I didn't develop any of these pizza recipes at all. We just put the book together, you know. So I'm out there acting like a pizza expert, but they are for sure the kitchen. They're pizza experts,
Right, and obviously they're shooting at like a different group of people than the people who buy the Modernist pizza book.
Well, yeah, exactly. We were looking at what's in the market, and a lot of them are kind of geeky, and that's great. There's a market for that. But if you just love making pizza and you don't want to study dough hydration, and you just kind of want to be handed the recipes, you know?
Yeah. So, okay, so what's interesting also is like there are similar recipes with different takes. So that's why you could tell they're obviously different people. And some of them, I did a little research, go back to way earlier Food Network recipes, like, you know, Food Network testing recipes back from like 2014, 2012.
Yep.
So you have a thin crust pizza that is double baked in there. And I think that stretches back to an old Food Network style of recipe from like 2014 or 2013 or something like that. Yeah. So you're pulling on that. Yeah. So now, as the person whose, you know, imprimatur is on it, like, has anyone ever handed you a recipe for something like this? Because this is not your first book rodeo at all. Like, where you're like, no, my recipe's better. I notice when they shot the carrots, they did your carrots and not the carrots that were in the recipe. I notice the carrot recipe.
You mean my personal recipe?
The carrots on the carrot pizza look like Maile Carpenter carrots and not like the carrots in the recipe. Did you look at it and be like, no, make the carrots this way? Because I don't know if people know this, but Maile Carpenter's roasted carrot recipe is the recipe to beat. I'd have to find
I didn't know you felt that way about my carrots.
Everyone loves your carrots.
No
Don't
idea.
you ask like people like when you would tell them how you make your... I know you're like, it's simple, whatever. How do you make your carrots? What
The
do you
same
do?
way you roast it. I mean,
Yeah, why are your carrots so good? Is it you buy good carrots?
good olive oil? I don't know.
know.
I didn't know you loved them.
I love Miley's carrot. You know, so Miley is the like brings out the roasted carrots with the tiny little nubbin on the end, so you could theoretically. She brings it out with the appetizer plate sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
I like that. I like the roasted carrot with the appetizer plate. Where's the carrot pizza? Yeah, look, that is clearly a Maile Carpenter style of carrot, and not.
But see, like that's on a puff pastry. See, there are pizza people who would take issue with all kinds of things in there.
Yeah, but that's why at the very beginning you tell them to shut up.
Yeah.
In a very nice way. You're like, you need to kind of shut up. You know what I mean? A little bit. You need to shut up a little bit. Let's talk about the binder. I love this. I love the spiral.
Lay flat binding, spiral bound.
Yeah,
it's good in a kitchen. You should do it.
Yeah, I don't think liquid intelligence would work as a spiral bound. I think my editor's already ready to kill me. Like
You don't want to introduce that.
I don't want to. So yeah, I know I'm real late, but how about spiral? How about spiral? All right. So a little bit about you. You started out, right? When I knew you in college, you were like straight journalism. And you worked, I think while you were in college, for the Washington Post at Berlin, or was that right after?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Washington Post, you've worked for the Arizona Republic. After college, you worked for the Wilmington Star and the Raleigh News and Observer, like, you know, newsroomy stuff.
Yeah, newsroom, yeah.
Newsroomy. And so, and you always had a very, very clear, like, well, you want to explain like church and state in like news talk? And
I have a fruitcake story about that.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, go for it. Claxton, right?
How did you remember that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is the terrifying part of knowing Dave. You remember everything. My first newspaper job, we were doing like we were making a mockery of fruitcake and just relentless, just going to town on it. And the image we shot was like a woman dressed up like a grandma with a chainsaw going into a fruitcake. And I bought a Claxton fruitcake for that image. And I got the nastiest note from the Claxton people saying, how dare you? We sent you that fruitcake. I had actually they did send us stuff, but I went and bought the fruitcake that we used in that image so that I could say to them, I didn't touch your free fruitcake.
Nah.
We bought the fruitcake to make fun of it.
So it's always been the case. You've always done everything very old school, unimpeachably, which is kind of like an interesting take in the food world. Yeah, but it's
like a new world now,
Yeah,
it's so different now. Like you have to partner with advertisers. Consumers are used to it. They're used to watching reality TV and having people hold up products and say, it's not like it used to be. Oh, back when we started the magazine, we'd say, oh my gosh, you can't put a waffle recipe next to an Eggo ad. Like we would never do that. Now we're like, we would help Eggo and make a recipe using the Eggos.
Right. And so that's what I'm kind of curious about. So another little quick aside. So Maile decided to go into, well, first of all, just another aside is that if you really want something to be successful, you should get Maile involved. I'll give you she's always been able to pull off crazy stuff. I'll give you a quick example. She shows up in New York. She decides to move to magazines. She gets a job, a crazy job. You want to describe FYI? This job doesn't exist. By the way, people, this is what magazines used to be like. So for those of you that are younger in the industry and want to know profligate spending, here's what it used to be like.
All right, unbelievable. I was just telling my kids about this last night. You could never do this now. But yeah, we worked in the Time Inc. building. I had a corner office with a couch in it, unlimited soda, unlimited snacks.
And you were 23 or 24.
I was
25, maybe.
What was it? 25.
Yeah,
just nuts. And all the magazines would have if you stayed till 7, you get a car service home. There were just cars lined up outside, and you could just walk out the building and get in a car to take you home. So of course you worked till 7.
And Maile had this job, which doesn't exist anymore. So Time Inc. had that whole Time Life building. They had 8 billion magazines.
Yeah, it was just the heyday. It was so great.
Yeah, Modern Farmer, all these things. And Modern Farmer.
That's the one you remember?
I mean, come on.
Also Sports Illustrated.
Okay, Sports Illustrated, Time, and Modern Farmer.
People.
Yeah.
Fortune.
Yeah. Fortune. Anyway, so but what they had was this, they had this program, which was crazy. They had their own in-house magazine.
Yeah,
right?
It's called FYI.
Yeah, and it only went to Time Inc. people. It was printed, though.
Yeah.
And it only went to Time Inc. people, but that was a zillion people back then.
Yeah.
Your circulation was bigger than some normal magazines. Yeah. And was it monthly?
No, it was biweekly.
Yeah, that means every 2 weeks,
every
right?
2 weeks, yeah.
I hate that word. And anyway, so but what they did is it was a very small staff, but this was the feeder. Maile became the editor of this, editor-in-chief of this in-house magazine, but you had access to everybody.
And we made fun of everyone. Oh my gosh, we got called in all the time for stuff we were doing. Our job was to make it funny.
Yeah. Which you did. They were hilarious. But people get bent sometimes.
We thought they were. I'll never forget. For April Fool's once, we dressed up my sister as a monkey and told everyone when they were coming to the cafeteria that there was a new Time Inc. monkey. He was the new mascot. And what did they think of it? And we had all these high-level executives giving us quotes saying, I don't know if a monkey sends the right message.
So anyway, this is what the job, this used to be a job you could, one person could get. You got it. You know what I mean? So anyway, she moves to New York to have this job, right? And she shows up she decides she's going to stay in our apartment. We have a crappy 1-bedroom with, an extra futon and no light. So she's going to stay with us for a week or two while she gets her footing. By the way, I'm in grad school. My wife's in grad school. Maile is an early riser, right? So my wife's schedule is 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. in architecture school. My schedule is noon to 6 a.m. And so I'm going to bed right when Maile is getting up. Maile is out for the day by the time Jen is up and around. So we basically didn't see each other. However, somehow every day there were fresh cookies baked. Every day I would wake up and there would be fresh cookies. And so my wife is, it starts hiding the cookies from me because I'm just eating unconscionable amounts of cookies. Like, I'm getting home at 6 a.m. and eating cookies, waking up eating cookies. So she throws them in the freezer. And so one day, I think it's on a Friday, whatever, when we're all actually together, they both see me open the freezer, pull out the cookie and just start eating it directly from the freezer. And Jen's like, what the hell? And what do I say?
Them's good frozen.
Yeah, and we still use it. We still use
them's are good frozen.
Them's are good frozen. I like a frozen cookie. But anyway, that's not even the point of the story. So for any of you who have ever been in a bad housing market before, right? Like New York, San Francisco, whatever. Maile looks for an apartment for 2 days. 2 days. And finds a giant 3-bedroom with like a lot of light right on a block with a Subway for less money than I'm paying for my school subsidized 1-bedroom hellhole with half of a window on the second floor. What the hell? Like, and you've always been able to
We paid nothing for that thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You've always been able to do
lucky.
this kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so you're at FYI and you decide actually that you're interested in food writing. You go to FCI.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I remember from FCI?
$25 dinners.
Ooh, that was very good. Yeah. No, I remember you taught me that when I am cleaning squid to turn them inside out.
Oh, yeah. Because they curl in on themselves and hold the stuffing in.
Yeah. That's, I didn't even have to pay all the money.
That's a good pro tip.
Yeah.
No, you just went work there instead.
Yeah. And then you know what? I don't think I ever once did stuffed squid there.
Huh.
So I never was able to.
Have you ever used that trick?
Yeah. Oh. It's a good trick.
Yeah.
But, Booker likes his squid in ring format.
Oh, yeah. Can't help you there.
So for any of you folk out there want your squid to be nice, pop those suckers inside out before you stuff them. Joe, you like a stuffed squid? Who doesn't like
Never had a stuffed squid.
Oh, it's good.
Sorry, listening to
What kind of force did you put into that?
I don't even remember. Must have been, I don't know.
Probably knowing a French culinary people, it's probably like a seafood mousseline or something like this. Yeah.
No one's eating that anymore. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Anyway, so then you go out San Francisco, and then you still had your hard reporter's hat on because so she's in the food world in San Francisco, right? And she's like, this is some bull crap because a lot of people didn't take food journalism seriously and didn't take really journalism seriously. So you wrote this excoriating article on the food critic out there and won a James Beard for it.
It's true.
You won a James Beard award for that.
I got run out of town.
Well,
it was good. I left.
You were happy to get run out of town.
I basically came there, did the story, and then left, came back to New York.
Yeah. Even you were happy to be back, and you never, that's it.
Yeah, that was it.
That's it. All right. And then, from there launched, Rachel Ray, which was at the time the most successful magazine launch until you launched Food Network magazine, which was like the most successful, I don't know whether magazine or food magazine, but the most successful launch like ever. And this was when magazines were already on their, everyone was like, magazines are dead. And you're like, how about I launch the biggest magazine of all time?
We launched the day I think Lehman Brothers went down. It was like, everyone's like, oh, bad timing.
Yeah, but
turned out to be good timing. Everyone was staying home and cooking.
There you go. Yeah. But anyway, so what's that like to have the most successful launch? When everyone tells you your business sucks. When everyone tells you your business sucks, and then you have the best launch.
I knew it was going to be okay. I just knew it. I knew Food Network was a big enough brand. It's hard now. I mean, because we're grappling with the whole industry. It's just, all kinds of crazy things are happening. So that's the struggle now. Back then, I knew it was going to take off.
Yeah. So what I'm interested in is, so you started in like actual newspapers back when people would have newspapers that they would read, right?
Yep.
And magazines, print and digital, like into currently what's happening now. And, still print books. And so your entire career, people have been pitching to you in one way or another. So at the beginning, it's people pitching their ideas for you to write about. Then it's reporters pitching to you for stories for you to do. And now I'm assuming it's whole magazine teams pitching like magazine concepts to you, and even people pitching whole, like, I want to start a new magazine to you. So your whole life you've been pitched to. And one of the things I always thought was funny or like interesting to hear about was kind of, since you receive so many pitches, and I'm sure a lot of people who are listening are interested in pitching things to other people. Like, what is terrible? And first of all, has it changed at all? Like, what makes a terrible pitch versus not? Like, has pitching changed over the past, 25 years or so? And if not, like, what are some things that people might not know really tick you off when you're getting pitched, or what's good? Like, what do you like?
I mean, you often get pitched content that the person clearly doesn't know your brand or hasn't read your stuff. So they don't even have the sense of the tone, you know? But I think the dumbest pitch, which would always get pitched all the time, was like, let's do a sidebar playlist, like in print. Like you can't tap anything, nothing plays. Like it's the dumbest idea. That, and the other thing I hate is like the A to Z of whatever. You'll see it everywhere. Magazine packages. It's like, oh, let's do like a, whatever handbook from A to Z. Like I'm never looking for a tip that starts with an X, like that's not, it's just
like unless you're a xerographer.
Yeah, it's a packaging conceit, but it's not actually helpful to anybody. So.
Well, you also hate false ranges. Like there's stuff that can
I hate false ranges.
You want to explain what a false range is for those that don't?
You'll see it now. Now I hope you see it everywhere and it'll drive you crazy too. You got to stop it. It's from blank to blank when there's no clear range. So if you said, I mean, obviously like from top to bottom makes sense, or from whatever, but like from, he had everything from avocados to tomato. Like that doesn't make any sense. What's in between? There's nothing in between.
Yeah.
But you'll see it all the time.
Unless it's like The Simpsons and it's between tomatoes, from tomatoes to tobacco, and then you get tobacco in the middle. You're not a Simpsons fan. Doesn't matter.
I've seen some.
Yeah, not that one. Anyway, but yeah, it's not like So like if you were pitching anything to in fact, just get false ranges out. And you use them in daily, not you,
Everyone
Maile,
uses
but
them.
one that uses them in daily speech quite often, the false range.
All the time.
What are some other things you hate like that?
Oh, God, I wasn't prepared with my list. So many. We have a whole handbook at work of things not to do.
Well, so that's funny. So what's a helpful, like I remember you used to get mad when people, this is when you were reporting, you would get mad when people tried to pitch you your idea. You're like, it's my job to come up with the idea, right? Of like what the hook is for the story. And it's your job to put something in front of me that makes the hook apparent.
Oh, you mean from PR?
Yeah. From PR people. Like, so like for PR people out there, like what are the kind of pitches that were helpful and what do you hate? I mean, you used to hate, you'd be like, I can't believe this person's trying to pitch me on this story. We're getting fishbowled. So like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what's a good way to pitch you to make it not seem like they're trying to force a point of view down your throat?
Right. We don't need the story handed to us. We've taken the liberty of giving you our headline and our... Yeah. We don't need that. We just need good inside info, Got a hook.
Although now in the days when there's just so much content being generated.
Oh, so much.
Yeah. Is it like, do you think that pitch is more, like actually works more now because people really just don't have the time to come up
Yes, I do think you're right. Yeah, it depends on how you're. I mean, most of our stuff's internal now. That's the problem too. Is that there are bloggers everywhere for our stuff. It's all staff generated.
Right. So the odds, at this point in life, the odds that you see some random person's pitch. So like, how is there, if someone, let's say you were Time Out's food editor again, not in current days, but like back then, right?
Back then we duke it out every week with New York Magazine to see who could get the scoop on the restaurants opening.
God, I know, you were so good at it. Time Out was remember there was no, this was before everyone went on the internet to get, this is right
you had to buy Time Out.
Yeah, you had to buy Time Out. If you didn't buy Time Out magazine this was like what, 2000, when were you there? 2003?
It was like 2002.
4, 5? Yeah. So if you didn't buy Time Out magazine, unless you could only afford to go to whatever was reviewed on in the New York Times weekly food section, right? You didn't know anything. You knew nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, you guys used to actually have a team of people that would go out.
Well, you were on the circuit with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Taking all the free dinners.
Yeah. But I mean, that was an amazing service back in the day.
Yeah.
It had a real, old man crying, but it was nice to have places with points of view like that. And, it's harder to find, you have to find individuals now with points of view and not like publications, I think.
There's nothing like that anymore.
Anyway, but at the time, people would pitch you all sorts of things about what they wanted to write about. So if you're getting something like that and someone's trying to break in, you don't know them personally, is there any way to get into it? Like, is there any way to like actually start writing? I know it's not a good way to make money, right?
No, it's so hard.
Yeah. But is there any advice to like...
I mean, you just need a scoop, right? Just be an old...
Yeah, but then to pitch to a news, I did that once in the Times years ago. I was like, hey, you want this story? And they're like, okay. You know
really?
What I mean? Yeah.
Oh, what was the story?
It was about Mana. like in the Bible. And like there's like, so
Really?
yeah, so Berush Shafiri, Saffron King, he used to bring in these things that were, he claimed they were actually like the manna from the Bible. But of course, no one knows what the manna from the Bible is, but they are a similar thing. So like bugs would chew on these trees in the desert, a couple different varieties of trees. The sap would come out of the trees, dry up, and then like on like really big swing days, sometimes it would actually fall to the ground like manna. So it was sweet because it was like this condensed like tree sap. And so he was importing it from Iran. And I was like, hey, you can buy manna like from the Bible. And then like that, and they were like, I forget who was running the thing at the time, Sam or somebody. And he was like, yeah, okay. And then I almost ran another one on Roman chicken, Numidian chicken, and like the downfall of laser, which is like asafoetida hing as a spice. Yeah. But of course, I had a job in the industry. I wasn't like zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there was a point. Well, there was a point to it. It was timely. It wasn't a story that you could have written, right?
Right.
10 years ago.
Right, because he had just started bringing this thing in. You know what I mean? The one story that, I don't think they published the chicken recipe. The one thing that I also pitched to him when I figured out how to anesthetize lobsters. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. And he was like, you have to prove whether or not the lobsters feel pain. I was like, I can't get inside the lobster's head.
That's a tall order.
Yeah. So I called up researchers at Woods Hole and in Maine. And then, a couple of them like talked to me for a while, but then their bosses put the kibosh on it because they didn't.
Why? They didn't want to be on the record saying they can't feel the pain?
They didn't want to be on the record saying they could feel pain.
Right.
It's something that could damage the lobster industry because this guy had these electrodes that he was listening to lobster, like ba-bum, 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 whatever a lobster heart goes. I don't remember. And so I had him throw them in water and like the heart kept beating for like a minute and the heart rate goes way up. And so I was like, you see, Sam, I was like, this is an indicator. But then, I was too much for my own good. I was like, well, it could just be nociception. I mean, you don't really know whether it's a mechanistic reaction to the heat or whether or not the lobster, what does it mean for a lobster to feel pain? And then, I had to do all this research. At the time, people were researching on hermit crabs and can hermit crabs feel pain? And I was calling my other, it never came to anything. I spent many, many hours.
What was the takeaway at the end? Lobsters feel it or no? What do you think?
It really boils down to what does pain mean.
Boils down going.
Anyway, but the truth of the matter is that when you do anesthetize them, they taste different. So there is a different reaction. So if you knock them out, right, then
you might feel better about yourself and your lobster tastes better.
Correct.
Okay.
But you get this
win-win.
Yeah, you get the same effect in terms of if you taste side by side anesthetized lobsters and not anesthetized lobsters, there's a muddiness a lot of times to ones that are the same side by side, right? To the ones that have not been anesthetized.
Why?
Don't know.
Stress?
I think stress stuff.
Yeah.
But you can get the same thing by just like you guys used to do at the French Culinary, just killing the lobster with a knife. But the problem is then you bleed out the hemolymph, so it can be tasteless if you then steam it and let all the juices out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about pitching to the newspaper. But so no advice on how to break into this if you don't have already a bunch of bylines, if you're not a known quantity, how to become
make it timely. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
Don't pitch a story that could have been 5 years ago.
Yeah, but do you need to have had other bylines?
No.
All right. All right. So
we got a last minute question from the Discord. If you want to squeeze that in as well.
Yeah. I got some other questions. What do you got?
So Dave's got the infamous first date manicotti story. Have you ever had any spectacular food failures?
Me?
Yeah.
You had a food failure on my first. I
don't know whether I've told that story. She said, I like how he asks your food failures and you bring out my food failures.
I've had a billion food failures.
Describe your first date with Wiley Dufresne.
My food failure was that I had just learned from Dave that Wiley was no longer with the person he used to be with. And it turned out for our first date, my first date with Wiley, it was at Dave's house for our family dinner. And Dave made bagna cauda and what the hell? I don't know. Somehow Dave brings the hot garlicky oil around and spills it all over me.
Yeah, don't forget the anchovies.
I smelled like oily garlicky fish. Yeah,
good
that was
first
great.
date.
And you ruined my whole outfit.
Yeah, it was a nice outfit before.
I was like, welcome to the family.
Yeah, I like how your worst food failure is actually my failure. That's nice. It's nice. I appreciate that.
Oh, no, I've had all kinds of failures. I mean, I cut myself on my final exam in school at FCI. Yeah. That was rough.
I don't know if other people know
Andre
this.
Saltner came and saved me.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
Just very quietly. He's like, I got you. And he fixed my sauce.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart. Real chef, that guy.
Yeah.
Maile Carpenter, I don't care who you are, pastry chefs, Maile Carpenter can bake a jelly roll better and faster than you can. I'm telling you.
Maybe just faster.
No, better and faster. You could, it's another thing, I'm sure that, you could probably, with your eyes closed, just make a jelly roll. Or a muffin.
I just made one last weekend. I make a lot of them.
What are your feelings on people
but
not
I put
using
jelly
the
in
proper
it.
pan?
You put ice cream in it, not jelly.
But you'll roll anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You've made many different rolled items. It's just, whatever. Anyway. All right, let me ask the questions before we run out of time that we have here. Questions for Maile. How do you see the trends in roles for print versus digital in food magazines / websites? What makes a successful food article or recipe online versus in print?
Oh, we talk about this all the time. This is granular for our industry, but I talk about playing to the strength of the medium. And that's what I was talking about, the playlist. Don't put a playlist in print. That's dumb. So play to the strength of your medium. If your medium is print, make it visual. And you don't need, in our Thanksgiving stories, we don't need to have all these sidebars about times and go get that online. So it's information versus inspiration. So when you're in a magazine in print, you're getting inspired. We want to inspire you to do something. If you need information, you're going to get that online. So it's just that's the oversimplification of it.
Well, how has information consumption in other words, how has the shift in the major mediums in which we consume information changed the way we consume information in all media? How has print changed because people consume a lot?
That was my point. Back in the day, we were super service, jam-packing it with sidebars and information. You don't need to do that anymore.
Right. So that's a change. That's a delta.
Yeah, for sure.
What's that noise, Joe? You setting off an alarm in here? Awesome. Vengroff writes in, over the course of your career, social media has become a behemoth that has caused all sorts of upheaval in traditional media. Can you talk about how this has affected you and the publications you produce? And are we broadly in a better or worse place as a result?
Oh, that's a big question. You mean as a human race, are we better?
Or as a media race, as a media consumer? Well, take it any way you want.
I mean, it's been interesting. We launched Pioneer Woman magazine in print, and then years later we partnered with Ree. You know who Ree?
Yeah.
Drummond is the Pioneer Woman.
Yeah,
we partnered with her.
She runs Oklahoma, correct?
Well, and now kind of the world.
Yeah, but I mean, how big's her ranch?
Oh, I don't know acreage wise, but it's amazing. I just got back from there. It's amazing. Yeah. She has her husband has a cattle ranch, but she has this massive business, and
you launched that magazine too.
Yeah. The print first, and then we partnered with her on the site. And it's been interesting to watch kind of what happens when all these worlds come together. So in a perfect world, all these things are doing their job and feeding off each other. But what was the question?
Are we better or worse?
Are we better off? Oh gosh, I mean, I long for the the good old days, but
yeah, but I mean, I don't know, but
we are better off.
I mean, in terms of, I mean, I don't know. There's no, in my mind, there are no 100% losses and no 100% wins, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Some things are lost and some things are gained, right?
I mean, more things are gained.
Yeah. But for everything that you say is lost, you've gained something else.
But it's you have to become an expert in everything now. Everybody has to be an expert in photography and video and marketing. And we used to have kind of one track, and now anyone in media kind of has to know how to do all this.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know whether you think I should take shrooms or not, but that seems more like a question for Wiley.
Yeah. None of that.
Yeah. I apologize, Maile. There's a fire alarm going here, but it's not a real fire alarm. They're trying to turn it off at the panel. So I can see it from my section of the fishbowl. All right. By the way, this is something you might find interesting. I didn't make this for you because of you have, what's it called? No, it's just because you didn't come to family dinner. I was going to say it's because you scarred me for life by calling my mint pie a toothpaste pie.
Sorry.
I've tried some of my terrible ideas on you. Remember corn pie? That wasn't very good.
But you have a lot of really good things to make.
Yeah. Well, you got to try the bad things to try, in family dinner, you try things out. But recently, Alexi Bulazel, one of our Patreon people, asked whether you can make a key lime pie. You know how acid adjust, how I acid adjust?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ask what you can make a key lime pie, and it's fantastic.
That's my favorite dessert.
Yeah, but you guys could totally do it. It's so easy. Anyone could do it. You know what I mean?
What'd you do?
You just you take whatever flavor you like, right? So like, one of our listeners did pineapple, and like I did passion fruit on Sunday, and you just add acid to it. So like with passion fruit, if you don't want to do like full on like I did with all the weird acids like succinic and all that, you could probably just use citric acid, which you could get at a grocery store. You take it up to the same acidity that lime has. And so the idea is that you don't have to alter the key lime pie recipe, because you can you only need to use a small amount of the juice. So you're still only using half a cup of juice, but it still has all the acidity because you're adding the extra acidity.
Right.
Yeah. It's a great idea.
That's great.
Anyway, so it was this person's idea, and asking for a friend when frying potato chips in animal fats. And then so, from your FCI days, you can say this: tallow, lard, duck fat. What's the best way to get that animal fat flavor into the chips? Any tips for animal fat frying in general? What do you think?
You're better. You're the fry guy.
Yeah, but I always
I did work the fry station at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, why did you get fired from McDonald's?
Because why? Because I wouldn't wear the outfit.
I thought it was because you.
I did get in serious trouble for making the ice cream cones too tall.
Yeah, because you were trying to see. It's actually.
I actually
harder
want to
than
see
you
how
think.
high I can. It is hard. You have to really know what you balance it. And the kids, kids started picking me as they'd get in line behind my register because I would make the cones so tall. And then I got in trouble.
You're like, well, is it going to fall yet? Right? Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let me see. Oh, now here's another one. Another little known fact about Maile Carpenter is I've always been a runner.
That's true.
Yeah. And so one day.
Oh, no.
You're running down the river, right?
East River,
running down the East. So it's a nice little esplanade there.
It's very nice.
Right. And remember, Maile, you do most of your running in the morning. You're an early morning person, right? So who else is out early in the morning?
No one, but, fishermen.
Fishermen. Yeah. So it's Maile and the fishermen, which sounds like a I don't know, like a song or what do you think, Jack? Is that a song or is that an album, Maile and the Fishermen? I don't know. Some sort of song.
I think it's a band. It's a band.
Yeah, it's a band.
Maile and the Fishermen? Yeah, okay. Anyway, so, and by the way, you're not a casual person. Like, you're not running slow.
No. I go fast.
Yeah.
I run.
Yeah. Miley's like, what's a fun run?
I don't go fun.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
It's all business. I got to get it over with.
Yeah.
Get out and get it done.
Yeah. Anyway. And right, she didn't come to this running thing, like I say, lately, her whole life, running. Right. Oh, always. Ran track in high school, whole nine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, 6 a.m. hit right in the face, smacked in the face with a fish. Guy yanks a fish out of the water, bam, right into your face. And then what do?
I kept running.
Just kept running. Didn't stop.
Well, what are you going to do?
I mean, I feel that 99 out of 100 people would have been like, oh!
I didn't want to talk to him. I don't know. I just wanted to get out of there.
You had to make the decision mid-stride to not stop when you were hit in the face with a bass from the East River.
It's true.
Now, the bass that come out of the East River, they're not tiny.
No.
They're big fish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, like, you weren't getting hit in the face with,
to be honest, I was just glad I didn't get hit with a hook. Like, I was like, I feel like I came out ahead. Like, if I was going to throw something back, at least it had a fish on it. It could have been worse.
I don't know. I feel like I've been around 52 years. I've never been hit in the face with a fish. I mean, I just don't know. You kind of have some bad pedestrian luck, though.
Oh, yeah. The dog just bit me out of the blue.
Yeah, just jumped up and bit you once out of the blue. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
Well, you know what it is? I think it's you're so successful with these other things that you need. Every once in a while, you need to get hit in the face with a fish to have it
keeps it real.
Yeah, keep it real. Keep it all. What's it called? Now,
I think that's the one story you decided to bring up.
I think we brought up other stories. I'll bring up maybe you don't want to talk about this, but like in the world of artificial intelligence, you have people like. You have like armchair people who think that they're scoping out artificial intelligence. Do you want to talk about some of these? Not listeners.
We had someone write in. Yeah, they'll send us clips and say, "This is surely AI," and I'm like, "No, this was surely us."
Yeah, but
no, we wrote that.
It's so funny.
We wrote it ourselves.
All right, one other one because so are you willing to talk about your not letter to the editor, but what is it? Editor's note that caused a run on a restaurant. Are you willing to talk about this?
Oh my God! I said this has to be fast, right? I wrote we were writing about like food memories and the foods you grew up eating, and this Philly. I wrote that this restaurant I loved as a kid that serves hoagies I said I don't know if it's the best hoagie place on earth, but I think it is. And some news station just decided we had called it the best hoagie place on earth, and then 10 stations ran segments on.
Yeah, but then they had a line out their door. They were running out of meat.
Yeah. I think they still do. Because they decided Food Network had named it best hoagie on earth.
Yeah. And you didn't want
to turn anything into a news story.
And you didn't want to be like,
I said I think it is, but okay.
Yeah. Well, that's again, you are, unimpeachable. Mm-hmm. And, yet someone else can run with it.
But I'm happy for Phil and Jim's hoagies.
Right. You're not going to correct them. And describe, for those of the listeners that have never been to the Philly, Pennsylvania area, what is a hoagie as opposed to, what makes a hoagie as opposed to?
We could do a whole show on this. There are arguments.
All right, well, you have 59 seconds. What is a hoagie as opposed to a regular, what people might get at Subway or
it's about the roll and and the peppers and the oil. I mean, you've had hoagies.
Yeah.
It's this.
Yeah, but the Carpenter family is very hoagie oriented. So if you give them an ersatz hoagie, they just take a bite and they're like, not a hoagie.
Yeah. It's a specific combination of things, but Phil and Jim's nailed it, and now they're the best on earth.
You need the oil, vinegar, oregano stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's the dried oregano. I feel like that's essential.
I never used to use dried oregano.
Oh no, it's magical.
Yeah, I became pro. You know why? Dax loves it.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right, so hoagie taste. You won't tell us the secrets.
What's the bread?
All right. What's the bread though? Is it just?
I don't know. You have to go down there and buy it.
All right, go to Phil and Jim's. Anyway, Maile, let's not wait another 12 years or whatever for you to come back on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
This has been Cooking Issues.